morning everybody and welcome to the GSM's Pride. This week we are doing something kind of fun. So Zach came to me and said, you know what would be kind of a funny vlog would be to tell everyone about the zoo that you have at home. So it's kind of a running joke at the dealership, and my colleagues are all state that I have a zoo, and actually it's kind of funny because in my neighborhood at home they really call me for any of the animal situations, and especially reptiles, and it's well known that we have a zoo at our house. So we have actually gone down a couple of animals recently, which is unfortunate because we had to put one of my dogs down, but either way we still have quite a lot, as you'll see, so check it out. So when I was younger, I had snakes before, but my first real pet was Kobe. I actually had him back in the UK. There's actually a little bit of a story behind that because I gave him up to an older lady in the town I was from because I didn't really want to necessarily bring him to the US. But after a couple of days, I went to go and see him, and supposedly he'd not left the front door. So at that point, I was kind of tied into spending the extra money and bringing him to the US. So Kobe was really my first real pet per se, and then it became kind of, as they say with dogs, you know, a man's best friend. He kind of became my my brother or my best friend. And then the reason I got Kimmy was I was single at the time, and I left Kobe at home a lot on his own, so I thought I'll get him a companion. And a friend of mine, his sister's dog had actually got pups and they needed to get rid of them, so I said, you know what, I'll take one. But where the snake fascination came from really was I've always been somewhat fascinated by snakes. I've always owned them, but one of my mother-in-law's clients said their kid was going off to college and they had this ball python that they wanted to get rid of and they had nowhere to take it. Would I be willing to take it? And I was like, sure. So that's kind of where all that started, and then it progressed from there. So this is our one and only dog that's left, Archie. What is he, about 2 years old? He is 2.5 years old, a big fat boy. He's had a couple of surgeries already, but I've always wanted a bulldog, so this is Archie. That's it. This is one of our cats. This is Church. He was actually found in a field, and we went over and picked him up. He's an extremely fat cat. He's indoors, and he's the most mischievous thing you've ever seen. And I'm going to put up some videos of him and Archie because they are really good friends, as you can see. But he's a pain in the ass, this cat is, I'm telling you. And this is Church. Well, my snake collection, if I had anything to do with it without my wife being present, it would be a lot larger. It wouldn't just be snakes, it'd be a lot of reptiles, period. But it's really, you know, we got Stanley as kind of a, I don't know if I could call it a rescue, but I guess it's a rescue. So this is what I call my big guy. His name's Stanley. He's about 8 years old. He's 4.5 feet long, about 4.5 pounds. Eats what we call ASFs, African soft furs. We actually rescued him from a young boy that was going off to college, and he was really small when we first got him, even though he was 4, and he should have been way further, but he wasn't eating at the right size that he should have. Has to keep around about an 85 degrees warm side, and then about a 5 degree less on the cooler side, and then keep his humidity around 75% humidity. He's a very docile animal. He's a big boy, but he's very calm, very easy to handle, and he's just a normal, what they call a normal ball python. And then A good friend of mine who owns a reptile zoo and sells reptiles too, up in Michigan. I got my second one, the clown ball python. I wanted to really get a reptile from him because I knew how well he looked after him. This one is Eden. She's another ball python, but she's a pastel clown. She is in shed right now, so she looks really, really dull. And actually, if I get in close, you can just see her eyes are, if I can get her straight, are very blue. She is about 4 feet long and just under 4 pounds. We got her as a little baby. She's about 2 years old. She's a lot more active than Stanley is. She's a little feisty when we first got her. The kids didn't really like her very much because she was a little feisty, but she's a good girl. She's just in shed right now, so she's usually a lot yellower than this, a lot brighter, because she's in shed. She's very dull at this point, but she'll come out of shed in about a week and she'll be looking great. So that was where that came, and then I was just wanting to grow and grow and grow. And it's kind of funny because Brian Barczyk, my friend in Michigan, he always says it's kind of an obsession with reptiles, and he's not wrong. Every time you go somewhere and there's another one, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And you just go and get another one, and then you get another one, and then it just kind of blows up from there. So this is one of the newest additions. He is a piebald ball python. It's actually really rare because he's got just a head like that and a tail with the pied on it. He's starting to become a good snake. He was very bitey when we first got him. Again, the kids don't really like to hold him very much. He's getting better though. He's can be a little feisty at times, but he's pretty small, as you can see. He's only about 2 feet long, and he is also only 345 grams. He's eating very, very small mice, but he's getting there, and he's coming along pretty good. We called him X. The reason we called him X is, if I can find it on here, he has a little mark in there that looks just like an X. It's kind of going away a little bit, but as you can see the X there. Last one of the snakes is realistically the new big boy. So this is a hypo Burmese python. He'll probably grow around anywhere between 8 and 15 feet and probably 200 pounds once he's fully grown. He's just over a year old. Right now he is nearly 5 pounds in weight, and he is also a little over 5 feet, and he's just over a year. You can't really tell how big he is. He's a really good boy. He's really good handling. He's a little food aggressive. He will come out of nowhere if he wants food, and when you first open his cage or his enclosure, you have to be careful because he thinks it's food all the time. But he's a really big boy, as you can see. Where he's the thickest, he's basically like grabbing, like a baby's arm. He's pretty big. But again, he's going to be a really big snake. Beautiful to look at. Hyper Burmese Python. Actually, I think they're the second biggest snakes in the world. So he's going to be big. When we do move to the new house, we're going to have to get a new enclosure for him, because he's going to need probably about 10 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. So he's going to need a big one. Right now, he eats a medium-sized rat, but he'll end up eating either a pig or a large rabbit. And he actually just came out of shed, so he's looking really, really good right now. But again, extremely docile, and he's a really pretty color too.
How does Ashley feel about the growing too?
So you should have seen a picture of Napoleon. He was our bearded dragon, and that was kind of on a whim really for my son. But I think that was mislabeled because he ended up getting so big so big that we think he was actually what they call a gargantuan bearded dragon, because he got so big. We ended up giving him up because he was for my son, but he never touched him and never played with him because he was so large. So Ashley kind of got attached to a Napoleon, and then when the snake thing came up, she was okay with it. And she likes them, but she's also a little worried because my last one I got is a Burmese Python that can end up at 15 feet long and 200 pounds. so she's okay with them as long as I deal with them. So most definitely going to be growing. Last year, Brian, my friend in Michigan, he was breeding some Rhino Iguanas. They'll be my next purchase if I get the opportunity, but they are kind of hard to get. But definitely when we move into the new house, I will be making new enclosures for the ones that are currently there. And my next purchase will definitely be some kind of monitor lizard in some way, shape or form. I would like to get the Rhino Iguana because they're really docile and they are pretty cool looking things, but it just depends on what I can get my hands on at the time. That's it for this week's vlog. I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, some of those pictures in there because I had a couple of passed away animals in there. But either way, I wanted to make sure I got everybody in there. But it was kind of fun, just kind of getting to interact with some of the animals for you guys at home. Again, it wasn't really relevant to cars, but I just thought it'd be a little bit of fun just to mix it up a little bit. As always, I'm going to stick up a video on this side. Up on this side, the link to my subscription page up in the top corner there, Lou Fuse Ford. Please like the Lou Fuse Ford page and subscribe to my channel. Hit that post notification button, hit the like, comment, share, do all the things you have to do. Try and help my channel out, and I'll see you all next week.